Hello everyone, welcome back to our another video series. In this video, we will learn how we can build an event management app using Flutter and Appwrite. Before starting, as usual, you should have Android Studio, Android emulator and Flutter and Dart installed in your system. So if you don't have these things, you can watch my previous Appwrite tutorial part 1 where I had told you how you can install Flutter and Dart and Android Studio. This is going to be a long video, but I had covered several sections like creating a new account in Appwrite Cloud and creating a login and sign up UI for our app, and also applying login and sign up and logout logic for our UI. And we are also storing the name, email and user ID on separate database in Appwrite to retrieve the data, and then we are also storing the user ID, name and email ID locally so that we don't need to call the database every time when the user opens the app. So now let's begin our journey. Let us create a new Flutter app using command prompt. Using the Flutter create command, here we are giving the name of the app as event management app. And now let us run it on VS Code. This is the demo code that we get. Just simply run this demo app. Either your Android emulator has been installed successfully or not. Now our demo app is running successful. We don't have any issues. Visit this website cloud.appwrite.io/register, and here you can sign up for Appwrite Cloud. So it's free, you don't need any credit card. Simply fill your name, email and a password that you can remember and agree the privacy policy and click on sign up. If you already have an Appwrite Cloud account, you can simply sign in. In my case, I'm going to use the sign in option. Now here you will be asked to create a new project. Let us give the name of our project as Event Management App and create it. Now our project has been created, and now we need to add our platform. For this case, we are choosing Flutter. Here we need our app name. Now we also need to specify the package name. We can get the package name from the app that we have created recently, app build.gradle, and here's the app ID of our app. Simply copy it and paste it. Next, we need to add this dependencies. It will not be Flutter pub get, it will be Flutter pub add. So remember, this is a mistake. So to add dependencies, you need to go to a VS Code again, Flutter pub add Appwrite. Now Appwrite has been added to our pubsec.yaml file. Now we can move to our next task. To initialize our SDK, we need this. Simply copy this. Inside the live folder, we can create a new file, auth.dart, and we can paste it here directly. So we don't need this client, we can make it directly like .set endpoint. Now our first task is done. Now after our Appwrite initialization has been done, we need to change the minimum SDK version inside our build.gradle. We need to change it to 19 and save it. Now our app is successfully running. It means that we have initialized Appwrite correctly. Now we also need these two dependencies. So let us install Google Fonts. Use the command flutter pub add Google Fonts. We also need shared preferences. Let us add it too. Now, when we see our pubsec.yaml file, we will find that Google Fonts shared preferences has now been installed. Now, let us use Google Fonts first. First, let us remove this dummy codes. And now, we don't need this color scheme. We are converting it to dark theme. We are also going to be adding Google Fonts text theme like copy width text theme. And here we are going to specify the Google Fonts dot and the name of the font that we want to apply. It's Inter. Text theme. So now if we save our app, so the font of our app is now changed. Now let us remove this default home page that we get. Let us create a views folder first, and inside it we are going to create our login.dart file, which will consist of our login page. Now just link it with our main.dart file. Now we have done nothing, so we need to design the UI of our login page now. I have already created a custom input form for you guys, so you don't need to worry about the UI design. I have already created a custom input form for you guys. All you need to do is just visit this link and copy it, and inside container create a new file, custom input form, and paste the code from here. Now we are going to use this custom form in our login and sign up page. So now let us design our login page. First, instead of placeholder, we need a scaffold, and inside all the things are going to align in column. So we are going to use a column. So inside column we will have children's, and then we need to specify our text as login. Then we need a sized box of height 20, and then we need to import the custom font that we have created. Here we need to specify our icon, label, and hint text. So we will use icons.email, and the label will be email, and hint will be enter your email. Now let's check it. So it's looking like this. Let us use the sized box at the top. We cannot see the login text. Now it's okay. Now we need to decorate the login text. Let's add some decoration. We have a color specifically light green that we are using it here. So all you can do is that copy this color and create one more folder like constants, and there you can write colors.dart, and inside there you can specify the color like K light green and paste that color. You need to also import material.dart. You can also specify the return type as color. Now you need to just call K light green and it will give you the color. Let's add a font size and font weight. So now it's okay. Now similar to our email, we need to have one more thing that will be our password. This will be password, and here the hint will be enter your password. And instead of email icon, it should be icon of lock. You can give it like outline. We can also use email outline. Now instead of sized box 20, we can give a sized box of 8. It will be better. Okay, so now let us use another sized box of height 8, and then we are going to add our button text. It will be a forget password button. We also need to add the same, we will use the same text style. So let's copy it. We'll use the same text style, but we will not use the same font size and font weight. So now it's okay. Let us align it. We will use a row. We will wrap it with a row, and what we are going to do is we are going to specify the main axis alignment to end, and it will align it to the end. And we can also align this column, like we can also specify the cross axis alignment to start. Now it's okay. Now let us use a sized box after a row, same sized box of height 8. And now we need to create the button. Let's make it an elevated button. Let's give the text as login. So we also need to change the style of this elevated button. Let's change it to outline button dot style form, and here we will specify the 4 background color. Our 4 background color, the main color that we are using, okay, light green. And then we will specify the shape as rounded rectangle border, and here we will specify the border radius, and we will add border radius dot circular as 8. So now we have got our button. We can give it a much larger size, so for that reason we can wrap it with a sized box. And if we specify the width as double dot infinity, and give it the height as 50, now it's okay. Let us now add some padding to the column. Let us create another sized box of height 8. So after we have added the sized box, we need to add a text like create an account, a new account. Here we need to change the style of this, otherwise it is not visible. We are specifying a font size of 16 and font weight of the W300. Now we can wrap this inside a row and add a sized box again. of width 4, and then we can add a text again. It will be sign up. It will have similar style, but the font, it will have similar size, but the font text style will be a little bit different. Like, we will change the font weight to 600. Now let us check it. So it is coming like this: create an account, and it's showing a sign up. Let us change the main axis alignment to center. So now we have created our login page. Now let us create our home page. Let us add some basic styles to the home page. Like, it will be a stateful widget, and we will have a scaffold, and inside scaffold we will have an app bar. That will have a background color of colors dot transparent, and for background color also to colors dot transparent. Let us link a home page to our main.dart file. Now in the app bar, we will have a single button in our actions. Like, it will be an icon button. It will have the icon of person, or you can say account circle. So it's black. For that reason it's not visible. Let us change the color. And also change the size to a little bit bigger. Now it is visible. Here we will only show the name of the user, that hi user, like this. It will be inside our body. Like, it will tell text hi user, and it will also add a waving emoji. Let's change the style to the basic style that we are using. So now we have defined our home page. Currently, what we are going to do, instead of our account circle, we can use logout. Like, this will be our home page. So now our home page is done. Let us build our sign up page. This sign up page will be similar to login page. So for that reason, we are going to copy the full login.dart file and paste it in our signup.dart file. And from there, we will modify it. and here it will show sign up. Let us link it with main.dart file so we can view all the changes. It will just sign up. First we need to provide our name. Let us copy this part. Here it will be our name, and it will give the hint as enter your name, and it will have an icon of icon.person outline. Okay, so we don't need the forget password button. We can remove it. And here we don't need the text as login. We can change it to sign up. And then here already have an account. We are going to change the text to already have an account. And then here we are going to change the text as login. So now we are done with the login and sign up page. Now let us implement the logic of our login and sign up page. Now we have completed building our login and sign up and homepage UI. Now let us add the Appwrite authentication logic to our login and sign up UI. So first, you need to visit Appwrite Cloud Console, and there from menu, click on the Auth button, and here you need to go to your settings, and here you can see the auth methods that are available. All these methods are available. You can modify it according to your needs. Currently, our main focus will be on email and password. So we can turn this off for now. We don't need this. Now let us go to security, and here we can also limit the user's limit and session limit and everything. Let it be default. We don't need to change anything. Now we are almost done. Now we need to check out their documentation. So click on the documentation button. Now simply open Appwrite for Flutter. As it is mentioned, we need to add this line of code in our manifest.xml file. So simply copy it and visit your Android app folder. Inside src, you will have main, and inside main you will find the file Android manifest.xml. And you need to paste it here. Just make it a little bit look nice. Make it a little bit look better. And here you need to mention your project ID. Visit your Appwrite console again. Go to overview. Here you will get the project ID. Just copy it and paste it. Make sure to use your project ID, because your project ID will be different than mine. Now we need to go to the documentation again. We have already added this part. Now to create an account, we need to use this code. So let us use it. Let us just copy it and go to our author.dart file. Just paste it. Here we need to give it inside an asynchronous function, otherwise await will not work. So let us create a function. Let us use future keyword, and there we need to specify the return type as string. Create user, and here we will expect the name, email and password from the user. So let us add the parameters. It is going to be an asynchronous function, so use async. Now let us wrap it in try catch method. Let us add on Appwrite exception, it will be more better. So here we are creating a new user using Appwrite account.create method, and if we get any exception, we are using Appwrite exception to catch the exception, and then we are returning the message to string. So we are done with the registering user part. Now let us focus on the login part. Now let us focus on the login part. It will be similar to the create user, but we will have, instead of account.create, we will use account.create email session. Just create a new function. Here we will expect the email and password. It will be an asynchronous function, and then inside try catch, first we are going to use user is equal to await account.create email session, and here we are providing the email and password. And then we can return true. And if we face any error, we can also catch. We can return false. So now we have also done the login part, and we have also completed the registering user part. Now let us focus on the logout logic. Let us create a function logout user, and it will also be an asynchronous function. Use await account.delete sessions, and here we need to provide a session ID. It will be current. Now we have also completed the logout part. Now we need to check, while login, we need to check either the user has a current session on the device or not. It means that if the user is already logged in, we can check if the user has an existing session in the device or not. For that reason, we will create another function, check if user have an active session or not. We'll create another function, check sessions. It will also be an asynchronous function. Inside try catch, first we will check await account.getSessions. Here we need to provide the session ID. It will be current. And then we can return true. If we get any error, it means the user is not logged in. So we can use catch, and then we can return false. So now we are done with all the 4 functions that we need. Now let us link these functions with our UI. So first, we are going to create an account. Now let us link it with our Signup UI. Now we need to add a text editing controller to control the text. So we need to add 3 text editing controller. And it will be name controller, and we need to add 2 more. It will be email controller, and it will be password controller. Now in our custom input form, we are expecting controllers, like we are expecting text editing controllers here. So we can pass text editing controller here. In controller, we can pass name controller, and for email, we can pass email controller, and for password, we can pass password controller. Now let us check it. But the password that we are entering is not obscure, means it's not hidden, it's visible to everyone. So in our custom input form, we have obscure text option, so we can make it to true. So now it's okay, password is not visible. Now inside our sign up button, what we are going to do, we are going to create an account. So we are going to use the create user function. So let us use create user function that we have created, and here we are expecting name, email, and password. So let us provide our name controller dot text, and here we are going to provide email controller dot text, and here we are going to provide password controller dot text, and then So if we are getting the value as success, it means that we have successfully created an user account. We can use a snack bar to show the user that your account has been created, and then we can redirect them to the login page. And in snack bar, we are going to show the text as account created. And then we can push it to the login page using material page route. To the login page. And else, if we don't get the message as success, it means that we have some error. Then that moment we can again use a snack bar. Instead of showing account created, we can show the value that we are receiving. Now let us check it. So now let us try to create a new account. Okay, it's showing us account created, and now we are redirected to the login page. So that's great. Now we can log in. Now let us again try to create the same account. We are getting the error message as a user with the same email ID already exists. It means that both the methods like error and success are working. Now we can proceed to the login page. We can also push when the user press this button, already have an account. So we have not linked it. Simply we need to use this. So we need to wrap it with a gesture detector because it's a row. And now we can use the onTap function and paste it. Now when the user press this button, already have an account, he'll be redirected to login page. Now for login page, we need to do the same things. Like first we need to create two text editing controllers like email controller and password controller. So we can simply copy it. And here it will be same. Like we need to add the controller. First will be our email controller. And for our password, it will be our password controller. And when the user presses the login button, we should use the login user function that we have created, and we should pass our email controller.text and password controller.text. And then if the value is true, it means that we have logged in successful. You can simply copy this and paste it, and we can show login successful. And we will redirect them to home page. And if we don't get the result as true, it means that we had some errors. We can show them the snack bar as login failed, try again. So now let us use login. It's showing login failed, try again, means the error one is working. Now let us try to log in into our existing account. So we are still getting login failed. So let us check our Appwrite console. It's showing us it's showing us the different email. I think that we have done some mistake in our sign up create user part. Okay. So instead of using the name and email provided by the user, we are using a default email and password. So we need to change it. Please rectify everyone. So we need to change it. We have not done yet. So this was a mistake that we have done. We need to rectify it. Now in our login page, we can make the password as obscure to true. And now let us create an account again. Here also the similar thing, we need to wrap it with a gesture detector, and on tab we are going to redirect them to the sign up page, or we can use navigator.pop. Okay, so now let us create our account again. Now it's saying account created. Now let's refresh it. We are getting the test user and the email that we have created. Now what we can do, we can log in with our existing account. So now it's showing login successful, and here it's showing us the name as user. So now that's correct, but we can add a delay of somewhat like 2 seconds, and then we can redirect them to the home page. First it should show the snack bar, and then it should redirect them to the home page. So let us do that. So here, when we are redirecting them to the home page, we can use future.delay, and we need to provide duration of seconds 2, and inside it, after the duration is completed, we can redirect them. So now first it will show the snack bar as login successful, and then it will redirect to home page. Otherwise it will show login failed, try again. Now also implement this feature in sign up like future dot delay, and it will delay for 2 seconds, and then it will navigate to the login page. So now that's done. So let us restart. If we restart, we will not be redirected to the home page directly. We will be redirected to the sign up page. Now let us try to log in again. Now it's showing us login successful and a delay of 2 seconds, and after that we are getting redirected to the home page. Now we have already created a check sessions function that will check the session either the user is logged in or not. So we need to add this at the first part of, we need to add this at the main.dart file, and it should check. We need to add this check session function as the top widget after starting our app. So we can check if the user have a session in the device, then we can redirect them to the home page directly. Otherwise, we can redirect them to login and sign up. We can create a new file like check session.dart. It will be a stateful widget. And inside init state, we can check sessions, and then so we are getting a value. So if our value is true, then we should redirect them to the home page. If our value is false, we should redirect them to the login page. Now let us also add a circular progress indicator. And here we are going to return as in center, it will have a circular progress indicator. And this will be the first page of our app. So let us change it to check sessions. So now let's restart the app. Now it's showing circular progress indicator, and then we are redirecting to the home page. So it means our check session function is working fine. Now let us focus on the logout user so that we can log the user out. In our home page, when the user presses the logout button, we can use logout user option. Logout user, and we just need to call this function. It will log out the user, and then we can use navigator.push, and then we can redirect them to the login page. Let's test it. We are pressing the logout button, and then we are getting redirected to the login page. But let us restart and check either a session exists in our device or not. So we don't have any session and we are getting redirected to the login page first. So it means our app is working successful. When we are logging with our credentials, it's showing us a snack bar, and then after 2 seconds it's redirecting us to the home page. And here it's showing us hi user. But what I want, instead of showing hi user, I want to show the name of the user. At first, while registering, you are using name, email and password. So there I need to show the name of the user. So for that, we need to save it in a so for that we need to store the name inside a separate database in our Appwrite. So let's create another file. It will be database.dart. Here we need to create a function that will save the user data So first we need to go to databases. First, here we need to create a database that will be our event management app DB. So here we are going to create a collection of user data. We need to create some attributes. Like first attribute will be name. It will be a string, maybe a size of, and it will be required. We are giving a size of 1000. And then we are creating another attribute that will be email. It will be a type of email and it will be a required. And then we need to store the user ID. It will be a type of string. It may be a size of 20 or you can give it as 30. It will also be required. Now go to the settings, and from here you need to add permissions. This is a main thing, please don't skip it, otherwise you might get errors. So it means that who can access this user data? First, in my opinion, I think that any user can create and read data, but they cannot update and delete it. So this is the permission that I'm giving, that while creating their account, we don't know that who is creating a new account. So for that reason, I have given the role as any. So now we need to link it with our app. So before that, let us copy the string database ID. So this is our database ID. Click here to copy and paste it. Then we need to use final databases is equal to databases and the variable database. It will be databases and client. Client was the file that we have already defined in our author.dart file. So we need to simply import it. Now we are good to go. Now for saving profile, we need to use the future keyword, future, and it will be a return type of void. We are creating a function save user data. Here we will expect the string name, string email, and string user ID. We don't need to store the password. And here we will await and create a new document. Here we will use database ID as database ID and collection ID. We need to provide the collection ID here. This is the collection ID. Click here to copy. Paste it here. And here we need the document ID. You can, this is the first time we are creating, so it should be id.unique. Now we need to provide the data. Inside data, we need to provide all the data that we are going to be needing. We need to provide all the data that we need inside our document. First it will be name, and here we will provide our name that we are expecting. Then we'll provide our email, then our user ID, okay. So after we have created the document, we can use then, and we can print it for now. Document created. And we can also catch error. If we have any error, we can print the error. Now we have created our save user data function. So let us use it in our sign up page. When the user sign up for the first time, we are going to save the data within our database. So let us open our sign up page. Here we are using create user function. Instead of doing it on the sign up page, we can directly do it on create user function. In our create user function, we are creating a user variable, and the user variable consists of all the data that has been taken while creating. So now we can get the user ID from the user variable. So in our create user function, we have created a user variable where we are creating a new account, and we can use this user variable, and we can also get the user ID from this user variable. So it will be a good choice to save our user data. We can get the name from here, we can get the email from here, but to get the user ID, we should use this user variable, and then it will be user dot. The ID that is generated while creating an account is stored in user.$ID, and we are retrieving that user.$ID, and we are sending it to the function save user data, and the data is then stored in our Appwrite database. So we have used this. Now let us save it. So what we can do to fix this error, in our check sessions page, instead of navigator.push, we can use push replacement, so that we don't get, if the user pressed the back button, we don't get back to the previous page. So in our home page, on logout, we need to also use navigator.push replacement, so that if the user logs out, the user cannot log in back in if they press the back button. So now let's restart it. So first page is the login page, and what we can do here, we are using navigator.pop. We don't need to use navigator.pop. We need to send them to the sign up page, because now login page is the first page, so we don't have any pages in the stack. So we don't have any pages in the stack, So navigator.pop will not work. For that reason, we need to change it to sign up page. So now it's okay, and in sign up page we need to change that to navigator.pop. So please make these changes. Now it's working fine. So now let us try to create a new account. Now let us sign up. So it's showing account created, but we are getting some Appwrite exception like document invalid structure required attribute name. I think we have done some mistake. Okay, so we have not provided double quotes. It will be, the attributes will be within double quotes. So please rectify this mistake. Now let us run and test it. So our account will be created. If we check it here, our new account got created. So let us create another account. Now it says document created. It means that we have successfully stored our data inside our database. Now let's go inside database. Now we can see that we are able to store the data inside our database. We can see that we have stored our name, email, and user ID. So now we are able to store our name, email, and user ID. Now we need something. So what we can do, we can store the user ID on the device. That will be a good thing to do. So let us store the user ID on user's device. Let us go to order.dart. Let us first create a save data model. Let us create a save data page. What we are going to do here, we are going to use shared preferences. So let us create a class share saved data, and here let us use shared preferences. We are going to initialize it first. It will be preferences is equal to await shared preferences dot get instance. Now we need to save user ID on the device. For that we need to create another function. It will be future void save user ID. Here we will be expecting to provide you user ID. Now we need to save user ID on the device. So let us save it. Save user ID on device. We are going to create another static function. It will be a return type of future void save user ID. Here we will expect the ID to be provided, and then we will wait, and then preferences dot set string. Here we will store our user ID as the ID that has been provided to the function, and we need to provide a null check. Now this is the way we are saving the ID. We also need something so that we can get the ID, get the user ID. It will be again a static function where we are expecting a string get user ID, and here we will return preferences dot get string, and the key will be user ID. We need to also add null check. And we need to also add some value, otherwise it will not work. Now it's okay. This is the way we are getting the string. Now what we can do, we can create two more methods. Like we can get the name. Now what we can do, we can store the name and email, both of them. Now what we can do, we can store both name and email. So let's create those functions. Save username. We need to provide a name. Preferences dot set string. The key will be name and the value will be name. Just we need to add a null check. We are saving the name here. We need to also use a function. We need to also use a function to get username. So it's simple. It will be get user name, and here we will set the ID as name. Again, we need to create two more functions. It will be set email. We need to save the email. And here we need to save the email. So now we have created 4 functions. We are saving the user ID, username, and user email inside the device. And when the user logs in, We don't need to read our Appwrite database every time to get this data. We are storing it locally. Now let us, when we are creating data, we are storing this data in our database. And when we are login, creating new user session, at that time, we can save users data, like save data dot, we can use save user ID, and it will be user dot user ID. Here it will not be $ID, it will be user dot user ID. Let's create another function by which we can get the profile data like email and name. Currently, while logging the user, we are only getting the user ID. So let us create another function. It will get user data, user data from the database. We will get the ID from our saved data, get user ID. Then we need to use try catch. Final, our data will be await database dot list document, databases dot list document, and it will list all the documents that the user ID has. And the collection ID, we need the collection ID. Simply copy the collection ID from here and paste it. Now we need to also provide the queries, like it will be query, it will be a list of query dot equal, and here the attribute will be user ID, and the value will be the value that we are saved in the local device. So now in our result we will get our data. So let's just print the data that we will get for now, and then let's use a catch method. If we face any error, we are also using print to print the data. Okay, now since we are using shared preferences, we need to do some changes in our main.dart file. Like first we need to make this asynchronous, and we need to use this widget flutter binding dot ensure initialized. This will initialize all our widgets, and from here we need to call save data dot init, and it will initialize our shared preferences. So now it's okay. Just now what you need to do, just close the app and restart it from now. Stop the app and run it again, because shared preferences will not work, otherwise it will give error. So now our app has started. Now let us log in to our existing account. So our login is successful. Now what we need to do, in our auth.dart file, when we are logging, we are saving the data. So what we can do, when we are logging, we can call get user data, and inside get user data we can call get user data, and this will print the data that it has. So now let us log in to our existing account. It's saying general argument index dot not found. So we have not yet set the index. For that reason, it's saying we need to go to our indexes option, and here we need to create an index. It will be a key, and we need to select the attribute as user ID because it is the unique key. Now it's okay. So here we are saving the data. Now let us log in into our existing account. Now you see we are getting the instance of document list. It means that data is successfully loaded. So what we can do when we are getting the user data, we can save those data in our local device. Save data dot save name. So the name will be stored in data dot documents dot document 0 inside data, and then it will have the attribute name. And we need to save our email, so it will also be in same location, but the attribute will be email. So now we are saving our name and email while login. While login, we are calling get user data function, and get user data function is getting the data and saving it in local device. So now let's do one thing. In our home page, instead of hi user, in the init state, we can call the name final user name is equal to, let it be string username, name is equal to, just for now let it be user. And in our init state, we need to change that username to the save data dot get username. It will not be final. So now it's okay. Now we can use here username. Now let us restart. Here we are not getting anything because we have not yet logged in again. We need to log in again. So now it shows hi Tom. It shows the username. So this was our task. So we have successfully completed our login and sign up, and we have also stored our data inside database like name, email, and user ID, and we can use that user ID. We are going to be needing those user ID in our next part of this video, and this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching.